Das immediately regretted abandoning her torch as the elevator touched down upon its descending destination. An almost pitch black stretched out before her, unmoving and empty. The viscera above almost seemed comforting now. Whilst grotesque, it was contained. Edging her way out of the elevator, even her breath nearly echoed out as her steps did, escaping into the vast expansiveness beyond. Das could sense this was some form of cavern, drops of water dripping from stony stalagmites and stalactites she could scarcely make out within the cloak of darkness. It was suspiciously silent, as if the dungeon itself was holding its breath. Aimlessly she wandered forward, trying to find a way out, or into somewhere else. As she searched, scanning the area, she swore that in the corner of her eye another pair was upon her, chartreuse, glowing and cat-like. They seemed to stalk her in humour, curiously observing her actions, and she swore at times a yellow smile flashed in the dark. She did not turn to confront it, instead continuing onward. Just before she nearly gave up, resolving to retread her steps, Das discovered a mine shaft. Held up by what she hoped were sturdy planks, its insides like a void of black. Upon sighting it, a deep sense of dread filled her, seeping in as a poison, as if a malevolent presence had spied her. Yet, aside from returning to the elevator, there was no way back. Steeling herself, she entered the mine. It was dank as the caverns she came from. Tunnels twisting left and right, there was no clear path ahead. Das was thankful that a wall held yet another sconce with yet another torch. Lighting it, she noticed more barrels in the corner of the left side. Only a loaf of dirtied bread and a flask that smelt of strong whiskey tossed into one could be found, as if someone long ago had discarded their meal in a hurry. Her stomach lurched, grumbling. Das gritted her teeth in distaste before determining to eat it. The loaf was stale and hard, damp yet dry. Hardly a meal that could hold up to what Das had been raised on, not even as hearty as those she had made do within military encampments. Her hunger drove her on to devour the bread within minutes, licking the crumbs off her lips. She drowned the whiskey as her thirst had become as intense as her appetite. Das found that after drinking, she felt a little calmer, more at ease. The passages revealed little else as she moved through. A scrap of cloth, blue flowery herb, and some coins were all Das pocketed until she stumbled upon a most peculiar find. Lying on the ground in one stretch of the mines was a pile of armour, a helm, chestplate, fold, arm, and leg guards scattered across the floor alongside a longsword. The pieces were silver-tinged blue, almost ethereal in appearance. Large and heavy, Das wondered whom they could have possibly belonged to, and why they had been simply abandoned. Carrying further to the path, she swore footsteps could be heard in the distance, though from where she could not say. At the end of the passage, she came across a strange stone archway encasing a door. Its carvings formed symbols or objects that she could not decipher with such little light, even with torch in hand. Das tried the door, and it slowly swung open. The room could almost be considered cosy. A stove flickered warm flame at the end, a workbench neatly laid with books, herbs and tools before it. Towards the other end, a bookcase was kept to another side. To her dismay, another dwelled within. From behind she could not tell if it were man or woman. Long white hair flowed down a simple black robe, stirring a pot upon the fire, only stopping upon hearing the door extend to thunk against the inside. They turned, revealing a pale face, blinking slowly at her entrance. "Oh, you were the one creeping in the shadows earlier," the figure noted, almost chipper in their delivery. Das did not drop her guard. The last seemingly sane person she had conversed with in this place turned out to be a raving, torture-hungry lunatic. "Who are you?" "My name is Nosramus. I'm an alchemist living down here. Pleased to meet you. My apologies, having to resort to brute force like that. My studies here are hundreds of years old, you see, and I cannot let just anyone pass down here." "Brute force?" "The night. I suppose perhaps another took it down." Darcy's mind flickered back to the pile of armour she'd previously encountered. It all made sense, seeing as the dungeons and its mines had proven most dangerous, and this person seemed unarmed. In fact, with all the supplies hoarded into the hovel, Weapons were amiss, or at least not in sight. Her unsteadiness was slowly fading into curiosity. "How long have you been down here?" Nosramus's expression squinted, as if to try and recall long-lost memories. "Oh, I've been here for so long. Feels like an eternity." Das was taken aback. She tried to envision living down here in the dark, the all-consuming, hunger-inducing dark. It'd been less than a day for her, she was sure of that. Das thought that any longer could drive any person to sheer madness. "How do you stay sane in the darkness?" "It's supposed to be dark here," the alchemist chuckled. "We'd be in trouble if these dungeons were as bright as day." Das furrowed her brow. As homely as this unlikely lair appeared, they'd been down here for so long they couldn't recall, yet they didn't feel the fear, taste the hunger, was even merry. Das couldn't comprehend it. "Why are you down here?" "Why? What a silly question." "This place is actually very crucial to my studies. In all my years, I have not found a place where you could still feel the presence of the gods so vividly as here. As far as the inconvenience of having a laboratory underground, well, people are suckers for inconvenience. They think the more convenient, the better, and they end up throwing away what's truly good." The knight considered this. It was her calling to be part of the cast of the Midnight Sun, whilst it truly wasn't convenient for her. What would have been convenient was remaining a holy knight, or better yet, not a knight at all. She could have remained amongst her noble family, found a suitable match, married and had children, all in the luxury of her clan's estate, wanting for nothing. However, this was not what was truly good. Nosramus's words rang true. Her past flashing before her brought her back to her mission. Perhaps they knew where he was. "I'm looking for a person." Again, Nosramus's face turned into one of deep concern. "I don't meddle with anything that happens in the upper floors, but I think the person you're looking for is located in the dungeons just a few floors down. I'd hurry if I was you. He seems to be an incredible person, but his time is running short." Darcy's heart leapt with urgency. Lagarde, the dungeons, time running short. She hadn't a moment to waste. Perhaps the alchemist sensed this within her as he gave her a sympathetic nod. "Now, if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate working in peace." Darcy straightened herself and gave a small nod of appreciation. "Of course. Thank you." As she turned to exit, she saw their head bob in response, still stirring the pot on the fire. She had only traversed a few more corridor-like caverns when she felt it. Without warning, a flood of dread poured over her. Something was here, something was watching her, behind her. Darcy froze and slowly turned her head. From the corner of her eyes, two beady yellow ones met hers. It was at the back of the tunnel, yet even from afar, Darcy could tell it was yet another twisted parody of a human being. Muscular triceps and a chiseled torso gave an air of athleticism and discipline, though it dressed only in a long, tattered robe wrapped around the waist. However, other aspects departed from humanity with great caricature. A spiked club served as its left arm, crudely protruding from its elbow. Its other ended with razor-edged taloned claws, almost glinting with sharpness. By far its most horrifying part was the head. It was not human at all. It was that of a crow. Its eyes glowed amber, a pointed beak replaced a mouth. It struck terror deep into Darcy's core, and she knew, without either uttering a word, it meant her great harm. Expressionless, the crow man stepped forward, but it did not rush her. With methodical, slow steps, it paced forward, one foot in front of the other. The air between them hung as if it were a sheet of glass that would shatter simply upon its touch. Without a second thought, Darcy charged forward, chasing through the caverns to find a way out. She had never run from a battle before. She had already fought in this place, but her mind told her to flee. A narrow tunnel lay before her, and she wasted no time hurrying through, almost falling to the other side. The other side of the tunnel was dimly lit by torches embedded into the cave's sides. Heart in her throat, still seeing the crow man's glowing eyes in the corner of her own, she made her way. A pinch of relief trickled over her, yet her blood still raced. The creature was gone, but the fear was not. It took her a while to notice her surroundings, and when she did, she began to notice new pairs of eyes. Small, glowing, greeny eyes, following her from the shadows, yet they were not menacing. At the very least, they hadn't attacked on sight. Darcy's mind flickered back to the monstrosity she'd just escaped from, and resolved to herself that retreating was not an option. More torches adorned the cave walls. They shone outward, revealing a village. Small huts dotted around, perhaps fashioned from clay, perhaps hollowed out from the cavern itself. And that is when she saw them, what the new eyes belonged to. Almost human creatures, blue-tinged skin, completely naked, that studied her from the sidelines. They were curious, but not hostile. Tolerant, but not welcoming.